Hi, I'm Christine Cushing, and welcome to another helping of my favorite foods. Nothing says comfort more than a tender, golden, homemade bun. Today, I want to show you how to get that perfect, ultimate texture that's soft and tender with a super golden, did I mention the garlic butter? All slathered on top. It's gonna be a thing of beauty. You're gonna lose it. Let's go. So, making buns, I wanted to simplify this recipe. This is going to be another in my installments of breads because you've been asking for bread. So all we want to do first is combine the wet ingredients all together. To that, some milk that I just kind of gently warmed just to take the cold off. Also going to add the melted butter to that. It's not hot, but it is still, warm. Adding a little bit of honey. This honey is going to just balance the sweetness, but also give it a bit of color because sugar, when it bakes, you get much more of a golden color. So that's a good little tip in general. The last thing that I'm doing here, which is a bit unusual, is I'm adding the salt to the wet ingredients only because I want to separate that salt from the dry ingredients, which has the yeast in it. So whisking this together. Now I'm going to add the wet ingredients to my stand mixer with the dough hook attachment. So precision is key when you're baking, especially making small amounts like this. Did I mention we're making 12 little amazing buns? You're gonna love them. All right, so that is the wet ingredients. Now, this is what you call an enriched dough. Enriched dough is really different than a regular bread because this has, as you saw, eggs, it's got butter, it's got milk, so it has fat. It's going to give us a very different, that's what gives you that tender texture. I've got here on my parchment paper the flour. I'm using a pizza flour actually, and this is organic, unbleached pizza flour. You can use, I see you sweating already. Don't worry about it. You can use all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour. Just the amount that you're going to be able to use is going to adjust slightly. To the flour, I'm going to add a little fine semolina. Look at the color of that. So again, semolina is a flour, or it's from wheat, a durum wheat, so it's got super high structure in protein, and it's going to give this beautiful golden color. Now here, remember I said I'm adding the yeast to here. That's why I put the salt in with the wet ingredients. Now I'm going to stir this all up just to blend. Okay, that is looking great. Okay, so now the dry ingredients are going to go into the wet. Okay, so I'm going to let that go low speed, 4 to 5 minutes, but we're going to check what it looks like. Remember, I'm saving this extra flour in case this is too wet. Now you can see that it's really starting to come together. It's a fairly soft dough, so the question here is, do we add more flour or not? So you know what, it feels pretty good. I can add the rest on the board. I don't want to add too much flour here. The challenge with bread always is, especially this kind of bread, how much flour do you add? So look at this, the texture is looking great. Here's where that rest of the flour comes in handy. So I'm going to take a little bit, brush it, or just toss it right on my board. And then we're going to see how this dough actually looks, because we want that soft, tender, amazing bun, right? Touch more on top, touch. Because you can see it's soft, but it's not sticking too much to my hands. So really, the mixer did all the work. So let's see, am I going to add any more flour? So see, this is what I'm looking for. It's stretching back, that means the gluten is working. So one last little trick. There's a lot of tricks when it comes to understanding in baking bread, this is an easy bread to make, so this is not one of those advanced ones. I'm really giving you all the tips and tricks and details. If your dough looks a little bit, not like it's smooth, you just relax, let it relax for 3 to 5 minutes, no longer than that. And in that time, it's gonna really come together. The gluten's gonna relax a bit, and then you're gonna be able to work it again. So just after a few minutes of resting, I'm gonna give it another little turn. And look how smooth that is. So it's all about those small moments of resting. Now that it's nice and smooth, perfectly kneaded, I'm gonna put it into a buttered bowl, cover with plastic. This is gonna really take, depending on how warm your room is, an hour and a half or until it doubles in bulk. As another little tip, if you wanna make this and let it sit, like you need a little bit more time, just put it in the fridge. Speaking of doubling in bulk, look at it. So now I'm using my flour, again, very sparingly, maybe a little bit on my hands because I don't want to make these dry. So I want to create 12, oh, look how great this is, even buns. Now, who's ready to roll some buns? I got a great technique that I'm going to show you that I think you're going to love. So we want to get little round buns, and the idea here is using the heel of the hand. So you just want to cup the dough, so you just kind of fold it over a little bit, and then in the end, wrap your fingers around it, and then slowly release, and you get a perfect ball. Want me to show you again? It takes a little bit of practice, but it's super amazing once you get the hang of it. Slowly. See how I kind of cup around the outside and then use this part to guide it? And you got a nice bubbly bun again. This is also the reason why you don't want to use a lot of flour, because you want this bun to stick just ever so gently to the board. Otherwise it'll just slide around. Look at that. Now we're gonna go two-handed. Are you ready? Once you get the hang of it, it's really fun to do both. It's kind of like walking and chewing gum at the same time. Okay, so I go inside, both hands going the opposite direction. This is what you would do if you're planning on getting a job at that bakery. You're gonna have to learn how to do this. We got 12 almost evenly sized, perfect buns. They're all super round, but they're slightly different size. I want to arrange these kind of in a honeycomb pattern, because then they're going to turn into little hexagons as opposed to being perfectly round or kind of square. So I thought this would be super cute. So why don't we do that? So I want them to be close together, but allowing a little bit of space for them to expand. Now I want to let them proof for 45 minutes until they're doubled again in bulk. Proofing just means letting them rise. Then we bake. Okay, so while our buns are proofing or rising for their last rise, let's make the garlic butter. Oh. So I got a pan on the heat. How can we make these amazing, easy dinner buns even better? With garlic butter, of course. as the butter starts to foam, it's really telling me that it's starting to brown. So I'm going to turn it off and allow that garlic just to sit in the butter until the buns are done. Why did I want to make this recipe for you of these easy buns? For me, I'm always balancing the nutrition of something with the sheer pleasure and joy of enjoying it, of having it. And I don't often eat buns like this, these kind of soft, squishy white buns. But if I do feel like them, and you will feel like them once you make them, I want to make them myself because I know what I've put into it. And that's why I wanted you to have the know-how to do this as well. And they're very easy, so you don't have to be an expert or a bread baker to be able to master these. You know, okay, maybe are they going to be perfect? No, but they're still going to taste great. You can't even, it's so crazy how good this garlic butter, because now the butter has started to brown just slightly. It's starting to get what's called noisette. Okay, I'm going to remove this clove of garlic, and this is gigantic, you can see it. I can use this for something else after, a million things. If I want to put my rosemary, this is when I'm going to add it. Again, while the butter is warm, the warmth of that butter is going to start to pull out the essential oils of the rosemary. Did I mention bubbles? 45 minutes later, are you ready to take a peek? Ta-da! Look how good they look. Insane, the aroma, insane, and they haven't even started baking. So 375 Fahrenheit is my magic temperature. These are gonna go in short time, 18 to 20 minutes. We're gonna take a peek. Are you ready? Okay, just about 20 minutes, and they are looking golden, as in perfect. Ooh, baby. Here's where it gets even better. They've already got the garlic butter rosemary treatment once, but we're gonna hit them again while they're still warm, so they're gonna absorb all that. Come on. Yes. Look at what I'm talking about. Did this deliver or what? There's no way you're gonna buy these buns in any store. Guaranteed, absolutely. I have to taste one of these for you now because it's just driving me crazy. The whole house smells like rosemary garlic butter sauce. Oh, yes. That is the soft, tender bun that I'm talking about. Perfect for any dinner, lunch. This would go great with a roast chicken, anything really, absolutely anything. This is that bun that you've always dreamed of, the dinner bun. All right, going in for a taste. Oh, they're still a little bit warm. Phenomenal. Forget about it. So you want to resist the urge to add more butter because these have been already slathered twice. Look at this. Do you understand what I'm saying? All those aromas, incredible. The texture, so beautiful, perfectly golden all around. Come on. Thank you so much for joining me on a homey helping of my favorite foods to share in these beautiful homemade buns. Please subscribe. Let me know what's happening in your kitchen. See you very soon. Buns, baby, buns.